This week's Amphibia was one of those episodes that left mixed feelings with the audience, namely the first segment, Mother of Olms. As, similar to Season 2's After the Rain, a long-awaited plot point was touched on, but only after a majority of the episode dealt with more of the episodic hijinks the show was known for, with the big moment in itself potentially coming across as underwhelming depending on what you were looking for. Personally, I enjoyed both of these episodes, even if I wasn't blown away by anything, simply because they followed the formula of what we've come to expect from these adventures. That being said, there's plenty of major details to shed some light on, such as the deeper meaning behind the prophecy that we've witnessed at the end of the theme song in each and every episode. And to stay in the loop of all things Amphibia, please be sure to throw this video a like and subscribe to the Roundtable with notifications on so you never miss a video. It really helps us out in this vicious algorithm. And as I mentioned in my last Owl House video, we're working on some new merch inspired by the shows we love, including Amphibia. And while we don't have a sneak peek for any Amphibia-inspired designs just yet, here's a look at our first Owl House-inspired design that's set to launch this Friday. So if you really want to cop one of these, then you really want to make sure you have notifications on, because we will make a post when these designs are live. Without further ado, let's dive in. Starting with Mother of Olms. Guided by the two guards as they head deeper into the underground city of Proteus, Anne, Sasha, and the Planters prepare for their encounter with the all-knowing Mother of Olms. But Hop Hop is seen struggling throughout their journey, being betrayed by his body due to old age. In particular, joints and a bad knee causing him to tremble, and shortly after, the whole squad comes tumbling down. This moment sets up this episode's focus, which is surprisingly not on the fate of the Calamity Trio, but Hop Hop, having him confront getting old, truly getting old. The kind of old that a lot of people fear. An elder that's on their way out, slowly losing control of their body and their mind. It's a very scary thing, and how this episode tackles this terrifying inevitability is something worth admiring. Hop Hop connecting with Mother Olm, voiced by Whoopi Goldberg, as she argues for the value in getting old. The decades of wisdom that they've amassed is a power all in its own, a power that's just as capable of helping others. And maybe that's what it's really all about. Using your final years to, well, guide others to their destined path. Mother Olm in a very literal and direct sense, while Hop Hop has raised Sprig, Polly, and even Anne to help them become the best versions of themselves. And yeah, sometimes he missed the mark. Sometimes he's selfish. He's flawed, and that's part of what makes him great. But not only has he worked to fix those mistakes, but his wisdom has shined through it all. His lessons and values have left a big impact on those around him. Hell, his farming knowledge saves the day in this episode. Unfortunately, I can't ignore this episode within the context of the show as a whole, and if you're familiar with the plethora of foreshadowing surrounding Hop Hop's death, I do think this episode was more than just a sweet moral about the elderly. It was properly preparing us for the end of both the story and Hop Hop's life. I don't know, even if he dies for like 3 minutes and comes back to life, I'd be very shocked if Hop Hop makes it out of the final battle unscathed. Amphibia feels like the one Disney cartoon to go through of killing off a main character like that for its finale. Not that I want to see a fan favorite kick the bucket, but it be like that sometimes. When they first arrive in Mother Olm's domain, the music cue sounded extremely familiar to me, and that's because it was also at the very end of the Season 2B trailer for the show. When meeting Anne, Sasha, and the Planters, Mother Olm references that she hasn't seen a frog in over 1,000 years, likely referencing the mysterious pink frog who bears a strong resemblance to Sprig, a part of the original Calamity Trio with Andreas and Beryl. And she seems to have never seen a human before, referring to Anne and Sasha as exotic. Mother Olm also has a translucent blue leaf on her head, almost like a crown. I think this leaf is representative of the powers of the Calamity Box, and more so a symbol of the prophetic warriors that are Anne, Sasha, and Marcy. As we know, the leaves and sticks in Anne's hair multiply when she's fully transformed, and the pink frog also sports a leaf on her cloak, as seen in the Season 2B trailer, aka clips from the next episode. So basically, the leaf is a symbol of hope, representing those who have the power to save Amphibia. So because of her old age, Mother Olm is unable to recall the prophecy, leading to a Fantastic Voyage-style mission that, yeah, I get why people would be annoyed by. I said this during Season 2, but Amphibia feels like an adaptation of a lost GameCube game that everyone would have loved, and this mission of reaching Mother Olm's brain to rub in some brain cream feels like it would have been that one frustrating level that everyone complains about to this very day. Sasha fulfilling the role of Player 1.
Worst mission ever!
The prophecy turns out to be the same one we decoded back in season 2, but considering it wasn't something spelled out to the audience or characters, I don't really mind. 3 stars burning bright come from beyond to expel the night. Should they fight or embrace the fall, their choice will determine the fate of all. Mother Olm also confirms that Sasha and Marcy should get cool anime powers, just like Anne.
Do Marcy and I get cool anime powers too?
Yes, honey, you should all get cool anime powers.
Clarifying that as long as Anne still has her power, she can restore those connections to the other 2 girls, something I imagine we won't see until the series finale. Mother Olm states the belief that the stones serve a greater purpose, ideally meant to be left alone. But others felt as if they were meant for conquest, creating an unnatural thing that doesn't sleep and refuses to die, aka the core. We'll probably witness the creation of the core firsthand in the next episode, but this does make it sound as if the Calamity Stones were instrumental in the core's creation, and thus instrumental in its defeat. We also get a fully colored depiction of the prophecy. Matt Brawley confirming on Twitter that the monsters the girls are opposing is not a literal being. It's not Andreas or the core, but a representation of the greed and corruption that Amphibia has succumbed to in response to Andreas' true colors and his reign over Amphibia with an iron fist. They're taking a stand against the worst version of Amphibia itself. One more gross out joke later, I don't know if they had to do so many in this episode. The adventure comes to a close. And this is a perfect time for this week's fan spotlight. Hit it!
Now I find myself in the wild unknown with the frogs and toads, and I'm far from home. But there's so much here to discover. One leap after another. Hop into the adventure, gotta rivet, jump on it. Baby, I find so much here to
Mother Olm, what's this prophecy for? What are the stones?
The Olms believe they serve a greater purpose and should be left alone, while others believe their power should be used for conquest. These conquerors, with their arrogance and greed, created an unnatural thing that does not sleep and will not die. The prophecy is our one shot at salvation, and we believe you 3 were summoned to save us from what we've become, the worst version of ourselves.
Now I find myself in the wild unknown with the frogs and toads, and I'm far from home. But there's so much here to discover. One leap after another. Hop into the adventure, gotta rivet, jump on it. So rivet, yeah.
Grime's Pupil is an episode that thematically sees the frogs and toads bury the hatchet and form an allyship. Now that Anne and Sasha know what their game plan is, obtaining the music box once more, they know they need to build a bigger army. Sasha immediately turning to the toads, referencing Beatrix and her secret army that was formed during the events of Turning Point, a majority of the other toads being imprisoned. Anne grows increasingly concerned after Sasha mentions Sprig and Grime have been assigned to reach out to Beatrix, as not only do frogs and toads have a bad track record when it comes to getting along, but Sprig and Grime are the pinnacle of such a beef. Their relationship became more tense than ever after Sprig defeated Grime in true colors. Sprig teases that Grime is just a foot soldier now, with Sasha serving as commander and Anne being second in command, something that has clearly bruised Grime's ego, which now makes me wonder if he's gonna have a moment to redeem himself in his own eyes, which then leads me to think that if Hop Hop has a big dramatic sacrifice, it could be alongside Grime. Maybe I'm just edgy though. After Beatrix further humiliates Grime, which leads to greater aggravation towards Sprig, it's clear the two are not getting anywhere. So Sasha decides to assign the pair to a night of training in the woods. They continue to bicker, they try to train together, but they both let their egos and grudges get the best of each other. It isn't until they face a common adversary in a pack of hyena bees that they're able to appreciate each other's strengths, the speed and agility of frogs alongside the resilience and brawn of toads. helping the two reach amends and clarifying with Grime where his focus in training with Sprig should lie, needing to combine the strengths of frogs and toads to create a brand new fighting technique. Sasha gets into the cheerleading spirit with some Wartwood Froggos, leading to one of my favorite exchanges between her and Hop Hop.
We're the school they call St. James.
You didn't even rewrite the song?
I'm very busy, Hop Pop.
Sprig has his match with Beatrix, excelling at the offense, but is caught in a tough situation when Beatrix traps him in a bear hug. Sprig remembers Grimes' words from earlier regarding toads using their rage for strength, causing him to tap into his own anger and deliver an anime-style headbutt to Beatrix, knocking her out. I do think if that pink frog from the past was tied to the Strength Stone, given that the original Calamity trio seemed to be color coordinated, this may also turn out to be a neat parallel between the two. After all, we've seen how Sasha's anger fuels her own strength. Beatrix, humbled by her battle with Sprig, opens her eyes to the strengths of the two armies working together, and officially unites her toads with the Resistance. By the way, I love how Beatrix's war art design is more or less the same, but with the head of one of Andreas' robots serving as a shoulder pad. It's the little details, y'all. But as always, I want to know your thoughts around these new episodes. What do you think? Which segment did you favor more? Mother of Olms or Grimes' Pupil? Let us know in the comments down below, and keep the conversation going over at Roundtable Vids and at Vox on both Twitter and Instagram. Give us a follow. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.